Well, good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana weather. It's turned out to be a pretty beautiful day here for Thursday, and temperatures a little bit warmer than we predicted. That's simply because of the absolutely bone dry air that we're in right now. The models just didn't have a good handle on this. Here we are at 2:30 in the afternoon, and we've warmed up already to 27 here at the Huntingburg Airport, 29 in Evansville, and a little bit cooler that to the north. Take a look at your dew points, and you can see just exactly how bone dry we are. 0, 1, 2 degrees. This is ridiculously cold weather, and of course that allows for the air to heat up much faster, so we get a little bit warmer temperatures than predicted, and that's not a bad thing. So enjoy the sunshine today while we've got it, because we've got a mess headed our way for the weekend, unfortunately, the way things look. We'll talk about that here in a second. Today's video update being brought to you by High Voltage Mobile DJ Service. You can contact Nathan here at the number on your screen, 630-9465. Visit him on the web at djhighvoltage.com and tell him Southern Indiana Weather sent you. All right, let me back this thing out here, and we'll take the temperature data off here, and I want to show you what's brewing out west. Showed this to you yesterday, and we talked about this little system that's now starting to move on shore, and the first bands of this low pressure are moving on shore. That'll be our first wave that will move through this weekend, but right behind that is an even bigger, a monstrous looking low pressure, and that's what's going to move through on Sunday. It now looks like we will have essentially two waves that will move through. It looks like starting on Saturday night, we will have one wave that we will move through, and will move through on Sunday. By Sunday night, we've got round two to be able to go, and round two looks more significant of the two at this point. Let's go ahead and take you through the models and show you what to expect for this weekend. All this to say, by the way, that once this storm moves on shore tomorrow, we'll really be able to get a better idea, as it will be in our upper air network and be able to be sampled by more than just the first wave here. We'll have both waves being sampled, and that'll lead to more accuracy, hopefully. Let's talk about Saturday night first, Friday night I should say, what to expect first. As you go throughout the day today, nothing but bright sunshine, just cold. Here you come into the wee hours on Friday, you've got a quick warm up, and the 32 line moves well far to the north of us. You've got a little bit of rain potentially to deal with on Friday. Doesn't look like anything impressive. It's not going to be an all-day soaker at this point, but certainly a few showers left to deal with. Then as that moves through overnight, we may have a few stray snow showers to deal with, but it doesn't look like anything significant. This had been trending. This had been a snow type of an event, but rather than that, it's now been trending more towards a rain event. We may see a few snow showers on Saturday night. Do think that we're going to be mostly a rain type of an event during the day now, and I'm not even convinced that we'll see any snow, but I'm still keeping the possibility of a dusting in the forecast officially for the time being, and we'll see how the future models trend on this, but nothing to worry about regardless either way. The big thing that we're going to have to deal with starts Saturday night with a potential winter storm. Now the models are in somewhat of an agreement here. All of them give us ice at some point in this winter storm, but outside of that we have some disagreement as to, first off, when does the ice start? Second off, how much ice do we get? And then how much snow do we get on the back side of that? All of them have their own ideas about this, so there's a lot to be worked through. Let's look at the GFS first. The GFS has been remarkably consistent over the past week on this, and this is rare for the GFS. It usually just flat out does not stay this consistent. The last time it stayed this consistent was the last ice storm that we had, ironically, so we'll see whether that pans out or not. Here we are starting at 1 a.m. on Saturday night, Sunday morning, and you can see the lead wave moves in here. The GFS wants to paint some of us still being at a chance of a little bit of rain for us to begin with, but then very quickly goes cold and transitions over to an ice threat with that. By 7 a.m. you got freezing rain here in the pink, sleet being your orange, and then your snow collars to your north and the purples. Watch how this goes through the day. Here's 1 o'clock on Sunday. Here we are by 7 p.m. and then of course, by the way, this is wave 1. Now you're getting into wave 2 moving in, and as you start to see the brighter colors on here, because as I said, wave 2 is the more intense of the waves, and this brings a heavy freezing rain threat just south of the Ohio River, a fairly heavy sleet threat north of the Ohio River here for some of us as well, and then moves it through. Now the GFS does give us a decent amount of snow accumulation with this as well. If we take a look at the snow map here in just a second, what you'll see is the bright oranges that we get on this. I think this would probably be sleet mixing in with snow. At the same time, it actually brings a fairly heavy snow threat to us as far as that goes. The first purple shades here just in this area start at 6 inches, and then you go into around 10 inches by the time you get up to here. I'm not convinced that isn't just a little too much for this particular storm. I think sleet would certainly cut down on those totals, but that's what the GFS is saying right now. So we'll have to watch this and see how this pans out very closely. Some of the other models are a lot less aggressive with the snow potential with this storm. So and I'll show you that here as it goes out. The NAM, which is sort of the cousin to the GFS, and the NAM is a shorter range model, and different mathematical equations used in there to make it more supposedly better for being able to see lower resolution. It's called it's a mesoscale model. Basically, it sees a much better resolution than what the GFS does, supposedly anyway. Well, suffice it to say that the NAM is significantly warmer. Here we are by 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, and nothing yet. We start to move in here as the next 3 hours go in. You notice it starts it off with rain, and then we've got freezing rain and sleet to the north of us. So for those of us along the Ohio River, the NAM was a little bit warmer and starting that off with more of a rain threat initially. And then as the day goes on, we still see that freezing rain and rain mixing in. Finally, it starts to go. After that, it would probably go into it. The NAM actually ends on Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Doesn't see out past that yet, so it doesn't really see that second wave just quite yet. But it is a bit warmer than the GFS. It's in the same vein where it keeps the ice threat around here, but again, it's a bit warmer, so it would mix more of that rain in with us. That would certainly lessen the totals down. Now, I'm not completely sold on that idea, especially with the consistency of the GFS to give us a heavy icing threat over the coming days. Love for the NAM to be right, because I'd rather it just completely blowtorch us and be an all-rain event, completely honest with you. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case at this point. It looks like somebody in this region, and it's looking like it's zeroing in on us to get that ice threat. Let's take a look at the Canadian as well. Here we are looking at surface temperatures. I don't have a nice precipitation type map to be able to show you. But if I showed you temperatures where the snow forms at the 850 millibar level, let's just go through this and suffice it to say, until you start to get this gray shades move over you, you're not transitioning into snow. That doesn't do that for all of us until overnight hours on Monday into Monday morning. So anything that falls prior to that would be in a liquid form. So we're looking at a heavy freezing rain threat if this stays below freezing in temperatures. Well, let's take a look at it. The Canadian keeps us pretty warm with upper 30s and 40s even into the area on early morning hours of Sunday. That would be good. It's the idea of starting out as all rain, but then very quickly, 6 hours later, by 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, you're already below freezing in Evansville at 31. You're still 40 in Huntingburg. That won't last very long, 27 in Bloomington. So this starts the freezing lane line, and then as you move through the day, what you notice is very quickly those temperatures fall. So it would start out as an all-rain event with the Canadian, but quickly during the day on Sunday move into a freezing rain threat. And then by the time Monday moves in with the second wave, it would be an all-snow type of a threat beyond that. How much snow are we talking about with the Canadian? Well, the biggest bulk of the snow is up towards the north because that's where it stays all snow longer. So you've got 2 to 4 inch swath over parts of southern Indiana, and that is simply because you have some freezing rain to deal with first. So this would be snow on top of ice. Now that's a far cry from what the GFS is saying, significantly less. You've got two different models with two very different solutions. Both have ice and snow, but your totals are different on each of them. So at this point, I don't have the Euro model put up here for you, but let me just spout it out to you. Basically, the European model takes us with a little bit of rain to start with as well, and then trends us into very quickly a freezing rain situation. It's very similar to the Canadian's idea on this. So all of them trend us to ice and then followed by snow. It's only a matter of how much we get at this point. So hopefully over the next couple of days we'll be able to zero in on this a little bit more and get a better idea. But for right now, that's the way things stand, and it just, you know, it looks like it's going to be a mess around here over the weekend, and that's about the best we can say at this point. SouthernIndianaWeather.com, you can get your 7-day forecast. I blew it. I forecasted 24 today. We're already at 27 and may possibly go a degree or so higher, but the cold front is now through, so don't think that's going to happen. That's okay. Drier air. We got a little bit warmer than expected, but you know what? I'll take it. 24 is cold. 29 is our normal low temperature, 29 to 30. So we're still even below what our normal low temperature should be for this time of the year. enjoy the sunshine while you can get it. We're going down to a bitterly cold night. With the dry air in place, I might revise that. Some of us will get into the single digits. I think 11 is maybe a bit too high for some of us. I think some of us are definitely headed to single digits tonight. Just some bitterly cold temperatures. Friday, again, I think this is going to be more of a rain than a snow shower type of an event. I'm keeping a dusting of snow possible Friday night in the forecast until I see what the latest models do over the next couple of runs. But for right now, I think it's primarily going to be more of a rain threat, and we'll just have to see how that goes from there. Then we get a break in the action. We warm up to 46 on Saturday. A few flurries potentially early in the morning, but warmer during the afternoon. Do we have that winter storm moving in on Saturday night? And again, some of the models take it as rain at the start. Some of us take it as ice at the start. So we'll have to trend that, and hopefully over the next day or so, as the system fully moves on shore, it gets sampled better and we'll come into better agreement. Start having some ideas as to what could happen. Then on Sunday, that's when the main show happens for us. All right, cloudy with rain possible early, according to some of those models, turning into that snow, sleet, and freezing rain threat for us. And I will say significant ice accumulation possible. I'm not going to put a total with it just yet, but I will say that yes, I do believe significant ice of a ½ inch or more are possible for some of us, especially given some models trending that way. We'll just have to see how this comes. And then, of course, all of them trend towards snow on Monday as the back side of this system moves out, and we are on the back side of it. So, you know, again, 2 or 3 inches of snow possible on Monday with this. So it's going to be a mess. And then to take a look at how far bitterly cold we go down with our low temperatures. Beyond that, some sunshine beyond that, but really, really cold. So, you know, if you got plans for this weekend, you might want to rethink what you are doing and you know, start thinking about those alternative sources of heat and other things, because if the ice threat does come, folks, it's just going to be ridiculously hard to get around here in ice. You know, 4-wheel drives will work in snow. Nothing works on ice, so keep that in mind. We'll have more updates on this to come as the time moves on. For Southern Indiana weather, I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have a great day, folks.